FATENZO.com, 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 FATENZO.com.
I don't even hear. Oh. FATENZO.com. Boom! Oh my God. Good evening, poopies.
Yeah, it's good.
How is everybody doing today? Well, how did everybody do today? How did you do today?
Yeah, it's on this
How did you do today?
Happy Tuesday.
It's Tuesday?
Yes, it is.
It's all running into one another at this point. You know?
I do.
So yeah, this today is the first time we've done a show,
I believe,
in the evening.
No, I thought we did one in like the first week.
We did?
I feel like we did. I really do. I really think we did one other show later in the day. How's the spiked tea?
It is spiked, isn't it? You're slowly poisoning me, aren't you?
At least it tastes good.
Well, that's basically like an allegory for a society. The way they've set up society. I don't know. Now, anyway,
you're using the word and you don't even.
So anyway, yeah,
a story, a poem, or picture that can be interpreted to reveal a hidden meaning, typically a moral or political one.
Society, well, the way that they're doing it, they're just slowly.
Yeah, they're slowly.
You know it. You get it.
Yeah.
You get it, dude. We're both wearing red today, dude.
Oh, yeah, we are.
We should put that song. Oh, my God.
Oh, you were wearing blue earlier.
I'm seeing red. Yeah, you know that song? I wish I could play it, but I don't know. I uploaded the Spotify from yesterday. I'm not sure if that uploaded or not. So if you listen to this on Spotify, I don't know if you got the yesterday's show
episode.
But I'm not. I don't know if they would block it because we played the no effects on there, right?
I mean, I feel like you would get a notification about that
because I could cut that out and re-upload it.
Why not try that after this? Maybe it would work. Maybe
that's what I'll try to do. Or I'd play that right now. That's another song though. Guilty of seeing red. Oh, no, wait. I'm seeing red. I'm seeing red. That's what it is. So, but that'd be awesome to be able to play that right now because we're both stupidly wearing red. And so I'm operating on fumes today, this evening.
Yeah.
Fumes. I've been all over the state of Florida.
Basically.
And I went to
You went to Mass or something down there, right?
I did. I went to Mass down there. Look at Check it out. I got a picture. Boom. Isn't that nice?
Oh, wow.
Oh, it's a perfect opportunity for some incense.
That is nice. That is too. Huh. Not sure if I know where that is. Like, I feel like I should. I don't know.
Well, we don't need to pinpoint it.
No, I know. It's nice, though.
But look at this. Look at this.
Mm.
Boom.
Oh, wow.
See the stained glass?
You know, I got to admit, at least, like, in the Catholic churches, their stained glass and their architecture and imagery, everything's really cool.
Oh, yeah. I was just working on something. It's not complete, though.
Oh, yeah?
I was writing it when I was in the car. Hold on.
Mm.
So this is not like a fully thought out thing. Hold on 1 second. Okay. A church is like a woman.
All right.
Yeah. You have to admire its beauty.
Mm-hmm.
And does she have a nice ass or a nice stained glass? Does she have beautiful breasts or a chest to hold the Eucharist? Does she have arching feet, architecture? Don't text me nudes, text me statues. Admiring the size of her steeple is an inverted spread eagle. The pews are like sexy shoes with open toes. The rows are bow-legged.
Well, that does sound like it came from you. Don't know how else to say that. However, I like it, though.
Yeah? Is it a poem?
I mean, I guess it would be. Why are you asking me, Mr. English major?
I don't know. I just wrote it. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing.
All right, fine. Let's look this up. What is a poem? A piece of writing. A piece of writing that partakes of the nature of both speech and song.
I want to make a shirt that said, "Blessed be God forever." Also, that's what I decided to.
All right.
When I was in church. Because I love that part, man. I love that part within the mass, where they're like getting ready. They're getting ready. They haven't started doing like the full blessing. They're just starting the blessing. They're good. They're like going to prep. They're going to beginning to prep to do it. This is your time to say, "Blessed be God forever." After they do the, I don't know the exact wording yet. But the thing for the Eucharist and then for the wine. And I like, out of all the things we say, I don't know why it is, but I like that line there a lot. Blessed be God forever. Say it a lot.
Oh, yeah.
It's powerful. I don't know. It says like everything.
It kind of does cover all ground if you would talk it like that, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
But so, do you get my thing about the church is like a beautiful woman, and it's to be admired. I was afterwards. So, our priest,
right?
It was is Haitian.
Mm-hmm. What?
And that was cool.
Mm-hmm.
But it was very difficult to understand. But I do know what's up. So I've been, to mass like at least 30 days in a row right now. It's basically like, Morgan Spurlock with the McDonald's?
Oh, supersize me.
Yeah,
30 days or something.
I'm doing that, but I'm doing that with the Catholic Church basically. But I'm going to be doing it longer than 30 days.
Yeah, I really feel like you're over that. Yeah, you're definitely over that 30-day mark. I feel like you were going maybe two weeks before we even started.
Yeah.
So maybe beginning-ish, middle-ish of May.
Mm-hmm. So like 40 days.
Yeah, something like that.
Of straight
Actually, probably more.
And so what was interesting was, remember how I told you how there's like there's bare bones, like bare bones masses, right?
Yeah.
This was one of them, like 23-minute, maybe. You know what I'm saying? Like, it probably like beat the other. Remember I said like there was a fast one. This one beat that. And they didn't even like do the transitions. Like, they went directly from a time when you're supposed to sit, for instance, or to stand, or like, or kneel down or whatever. They went right to the next part. And if you didn't know, you didn't know. You didn't know, and it was obvious you didn't know. Because usually people, even the
you get into like
how I was.
habit.
I mean, how I was. I went to Catholic school my whole life, and I would still like look around, like, oh yeah, okay,
Well, when I went with you, I had to look around.
yeah.
I had to kind of pick up on everybody what they're about to do. Not gonna lie, the people in front of me, they were like the, I guess, devout people that went all the time, because they were like before everybody else. Like, they were giving me the cues, and I feel like I was almost on time just because they were starting early, and I'm like, oh, that's what I do.
Oh my God, our Edward Lynch, you know him.
Yeah.
He was just texting me. He says he's a biblical scholar.
Ed says he is?
He's a biblical scholar, yes. Oh my God.
Why don't we get him on there then?
Should we call him up?
Yeah. Well, should we do our creed first also?
Oh, thank you very much.
Or should we do the creed with him, actually? Also,
Here, I'm just going to tell it like this. I'm going to say it like this. Call in if your
available.
If your heart,
Oh, yeah.
Speaks it. Speak Christian language. The Christian language.
I don't know if it's the incense or the sleep depravity that's making me nutty.
Oh, yeah.
Or maybe a combination.
So should we continue with this thought thing? Like, what were we saying? Okay, where was I? We're talking about the mass, right? Okay. So anyway, this right here is a 27th episode.
Yes, it is.
So that's a confirmed 27 days straight.
Yeah.
And so today we talk about, man, you know what we talked about today?
No, I don't, because I did not go.
Do you know what the golden rule is? This is what I'm asking you. Do not look it up. Do not look it up. Don't you dare look it up.
My hands are here. Now,
yeah.
What is the golden rule?
I have no idea.
No idea.
You don't know what it is?
No.
I know what it is. I looked it up. No, I heard about it today in Mass. It's do unto others as you would have done unto yourself.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's an idea of karma. I see it.
Yeah.
Do unto you. What was it?
That's a karma thing. Yeah.
It's all.
Oh, it's a main.
Right,
this is one of the
around.
main things. This is one of the main teachings in Christianity. It's one of the main staple teachings, and that's why people refer to it with a nickname, and they call it the Golden Rule. You've heard it a million times growing up. I'm sure you have.
Yes, I have, and I'm like, I know it. I know what the word is. Like, I know you're saying.
So we're going to talk about that because that's what we learn in church. What's up with the bad news today? And by the way, this is the FATENZO show. If you don't know, and I'm your host. You can call me whatever you want to. Just don't call me late to dinner. I'm a name fluid English major who doesn't know pronouns. And this is America's favorite Asian sidekick, Genghis Khan. Okay.
All right. And on the bad news, we have CNN is talking about Trump wanting equal time at the January 6th hearing. Another one is Caitlyn Jenner. The media ignored Biden's bike fall, but aren't we used to that? And that's Kate. It's also pretty much her. I guess
her opinion.
Yeah,
her opinion piece.
And then finally, Biden takes shots at reporters, saying, saying recession could be inevitable. Don't make things up.
Yeah, right.
So, and they all accompany a video.
All right. Are you ready?
We'll be in a second. Yes.
All right, guys. If you're joining us today for the first time, this is our content creators credo. You know what? I don't know. Do I have the cover? I don't have the cover. We'll do it without the cover today.
Okay. That's fine.
I don't have the cover, and I don't have an available port. So I took all that stuff off the computer yesterday.
That's all right. That's all right.
Ready?
Yep.
I believe that the freedom of speech is a universal international right, that all opinions shall be tolerated, regardless if agreeable or disagreeable. I believe in the First Amendment of the United States Constitution, freedom of expression, freedom of religion, not from it,
From religion, yeah.
not from it, freedom of the press, the right of the people to peaceably assemble, be it physically or virtually or digitally. I believe in the separation of church and state and corporation. I believe that truth is non-binary and can be objective, subjective, normative, or complex. There are no eternal facts, as there are no absolute truths. For us creators and for our content, great thinkers have philosophized. Oh, you know what? We could back up. We could say there are no absolute truths except for the law of God or the word of God.
The word of God. I like that better.
Okay, watch this. There are no eternal facts, as there are no absolute truths except for the word of God. For us creators and for our content, continue.
Oh yeah, God.
We'll notate it later.
Okay.
For us creators and for our content, great thinkers have. Thank you, Uncle Mike.
Yes.
For us creators and for our content, great thinkers have philosophized, and our founding fathers debated the dangers of cancellation and censorship for centuries. And no individual shall be indemnified of criticism or mockery, for there is honesty in jest. I pledge that the ideas I share are my own and are not the expressed opinions of any violent criminal organizations. The only group I represent is the human race, and I reserve the right to interview any of my counterparts without fear, threats, or intimidation, with their opinions being their own, with my opinions being my own, for our association does not always equal shared beliefs. I pledge to perform in a professional, dignified manner, to not bully, harass, or slander my fellow human creatures, to refrain from hate, anger, sedition, vulgarity, harassment, pornography, cautioning that sarcasm can at times be misinterpreted as such. I believe in the counter-speech doctrine, that the remedy to negative, harmful speech is more positive, helpful speech, not enforced silence, that no person shall be denied access to social media, which is the marketplace of ideas and today's town square, that Section 230 privatizes communism and legalizes slander, and that content creators who have broken community guidelines in the past deserve retribution because we are all constituents of the human party and humans are fallible. Amen. That's so awesome. I love it.
By the way, today would it be Monday or Tuesday of the 11th week of ordinary time?
I think you probably guessed it. Today's Tuesday, right?
Yeah, I am guessing.
Tuesday's the 12th week. Yes, the 12th week of ordinary time. You got it. You want to do the good news thing? Is that what you're going to do?
No, I was just asking because you didn't mention it earlier. I don't have the same exact thing you have. Oh, yeah,
that's what I'm talking about. Learn to understand things like that.
Oh, learn to read your mind as you don't even know your own mind.
Today's Tuesday of the 12th week
in
ordinary time. And we talked about, you know what we talked about?
Well, other than the golden rule?
Yeah. Other than that. We talked about
saint today, I guess.
Saint Aloysius. Is it Aloysius? Is it Aloysius? Aloysius? Is it I don't know if I've ever heard of it pronounced properly, but I don't know why I think it's Aloysius. Gonzaga, but it's, Gonzaga University. Have you heard of Gonzaga University? Like basketball? No?
I'm still not. I can't say that.
It's a Jesuit university, and it's a very good, I think it's like D1 sports. Pretty sure.
I don't even know what that means in college.
And so Aloysius, I'm going to go with that's his name, but I don't know if that's true. Was born at Castiglione, Mantua, Italy, of the wealthy and well-connected Gonzaga family from early childhood. He accompanied his father on military exercises as a preparation to defend the family estate in the ducal wars. Aloysius took on the rough language of the soldiers, but was horrified when he was told of the words' crude meanings. At the age of 7, he sought solace in daily prayer to Mary. Deeply sensitive to the spiritual dangers of his lavish but violent surroundings, he fasted and sought mortification. At 17, he renounced his title, entered the Jesuits, and began studies in Rome. He died in 1591 in his early 20s as a result of caring for plague victims.
Oh, wow.
Yep. So, to go into should we go in the reading?
Yeah.
Might as well just go into it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, do we want to okay, let's explain first, once again, what we're doing. We always do the good news and the bad news.
Yep.
Right? And then the good news is anything from the book.
And the bad news is anything of the world.
And the bad news is anything from the world. That's right. And so usually what I've been doing right now, we've been, not to throw anybody off or whatever, and if you're of another faith or another denomination other than Catholic, please still watch. Please still watch, because this is a spiritual podcast. It's not strictly a Catholic podcast. I believe that all religions are essentially the same. I believe there is one God, in that us human creatures on this planet scurrying around like ants in an ant mound, we all have, there's all different kinds of ants, right? There's red ants, there's black ants, there's all kinds of different big, ants, huge ants. There's all kinds of huge, crazy ants, right? There's a lot of diversity in ants.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there's a lot of diversity in human beings.
Yeah.
And we have different cultures. We have different languages. We have different skin tones. Not that matters. No. We have all different foods. There's all different things, all different customs. Mm-hmm. And so these were developed into their religiosity.
Yeah.
Okay. And whatever they believe and whatever they call it and whatever the story is and whatever it is, they all mean the same thing. They all have teachings in the end.
Yeah. And I believe that all the teachings are very, if you would call it, almost very similar, if not the same, realistically.
Yeah.
I mean, they're
all very, listen. Yeah.
It's a lot about
let's not go, oh, it's not, similar.
No.
There's no point of even comparing them. Okay. No. The point is, just like a language, these things developed. It's an organized religion. And there's nothing wrong with an organized religion, by the way. Okay. Yeah. Because an organized religion is just organized rather than disorganized. Would you rather a disorganized religion? That would be fun, right? Well, I'm going to do that. I'm going to create a disorganized religion.
How? When you don't even understand an organized religion.
I know. That's why it will be disorganized.
No, it would be even worse. Understand what an organized religion is before you figure out what a disorganized
probably a lot of denominations of Christian are disorganized.
Oh, well, probably, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And just because Patty O'Reilly up there, Patty from Boston.
Yeah.
I'm going to start using his right name. He told me, like he was talking about the other day, remember? Mm-hmm. He was saying the one thing that he could say is that he understands why they started schisming, because of there was a lot of bad things going on, whatever, right? There's a lot of, just craziness going on within the Catholic Church. Mm-hmm. And so that led to them to start their own thing. But then that kind of stuff still happens in their thing too. Do you understand?
Well, yeah, it happens everywhere.
Yeah, like that kind of stuff always happens at all different churches. Okay, they get too much power, and they do something messed up, and they embezzle money or whatever it is.
Ego.
But that doesn't happen though. Really, with I don't know. I guess I can't say that because the Vatican has like so much money, and yeah, I can't say that. Anyway, moving along. The point is, these are all what I call spiritual languages to God. Okay, and Catholicism is the OC. It's the original Christian.
The original cult.
And so if you're going to equate these things to languages, all the different denominations of Christianity, regardless, okay, all of them are the same language, but they're different dialects or different accents of that same language. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and I see that.
And you see it, right?
Yeah, I understand that.
It's true. That's what I think.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I believe. You know? And so whatever. So this is the thing that I'm talking about. I'm talking about this from this point of view of this kind of spiritual language of Catholicism.
Yes.
Which is Christian. So if you're a Christian, you could follow along because I think that honestly, like regardless, Catholics, it's a pretty cool religion to be a part of because the organization of it is so awesome. Regardless of where you are in the world at any moment in time, or not any moment in time, but regardless of where you are in the world, you will be able to find a Catholic church, and they operate daily. They have a daily mass at least once a day. What other religion has a service every single day? I mean, that's pretty cool. So you go in regardless, and they're all going to teach the same thing. And I'm going to talk about it on the show right now. If you whatever, are a pothead like me, or you work, or you don't have time to go to church, and check it out. Listen to this show.
It's like
and then you'll know
like a recap of Mass. Yeah.
Yeah, you'll know at least you'll have a recap of Mass. And the way that the Catholic Church does it, it's really cool. It's so structured that if you go every day, like it actually says in the Bible, it actually says this is all supports it, and it's all biblical, everything actually that they talk about in the Catholic Church. And they'll show supporting, evidence of it, and you could read it for yourself. Right. So, but if you go every day, you'll read the Bible.
Yeah. You'll
end up by default I heard the whole story.
Yeah.
It's like basically going to the movies.
Yeah, you get a little piece of it each time you go, though.
Yeah. So anyway, what was the first one's long, dude. All right, so in the Catholic Mass, they usually, I think the trend is they do the Old Testament first.
Yeah.
And then they do the New Testament second. Okay? So Kings, right?
Second Kings or whatever.
Yep.
Chapter 19.
Here it is. This is a long one. It's going to be convoluted. These are like the hardest to try to decipher. But for whatever reason, Genghis Khan can do it sometimes. So, Sennacherib, king of Assyria, sent envoys to Hezekiah with this message. Thus shall you say to Hezekiah, king of Judah, do not let your God, on whom you rely, deceive you by saying that Jerusalem will not be handed over to the king of Assyria. You have heard that the kings of Assyria have done to all other countries. They doomed them. Will you then be saved? Hezekiah took to the letter from the hand of the messengers and read it. Then he went up to the temple of the Lord, and spreading it out before him, he prayed in the Lord's presence. O Lord, God of Israel, enthroned upon the cherub, you alone are God over all the kingdoms of the earth. You have made the heavens and the earth. Incline your ear, O Lord, and listen. Open your eyes, O Lord, and see. Hear the words of Sennacherib, which he sent to taunt the living God. Truly, O Lord, the kings of Assyria have laid waste the nations and their lands and cast their gods into the fire. They destroyed them because they were not gods, but the work of human hands, wood and stone. Therefore, O Lord, O God, save us from the power of this man, that all the kingdoms of the earth may know that you alone, O Lord, are God. Then Isaiah, son of Amos, sent this message to Hezekiah. Thus says the Lord, the God of Israel, in answers to your prayer for help against Sennacherib, king of Assyria. I have listened. This is the word the Lord has spoken concerning him. She despises you, laughs you to scorn, the virgin daughter Zion. Behind you she wags her head, daughter Jerusalem. For out of Jerusalem shall come a remnant, and from Mount Zion survivors. The zeal of the Lord of hosts shall do this. Therefore, thus says the Lord concerning the king of Assyria, he shall not reach this city, nor shoot an arrow at it, nor come before it with a shield, nor cast upon siege works against it. He shall return by the same way he came, without entering the city, says the Lord. I will shield and save this city for my own sake and for the sake of my servant David. That night the angel of the Lord went forth and struck down 185,000 men in the Assyrian camp. So Sennacherib, the king of Assyria, broke camp and went back home to Nineveh, the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. I mean,
Okay. Easy.
tell me.
Yeah, so beginning, the king of Assyria was going to invade.
Are you just reading this? Do you looking this up somewhere else? No? Oh, okay. Tell me.
How I see it, the king of Assyria was going to, I guess, invade Hezekiah.
Mm-hmm.
And then he took the letter and then he went and prayed to the Lord to protect him and shield him, his people. And then they sent the message basically back to the king of Assyria saying, like, we have prayed to the Lord and you will not attack the city. Where was that? Like, he shall not reach the city, nor shoot an arrow at it, nor come before it with a shield. Talking about, like, you're not going to invade, basically.
Mm-hmm.
The king of Assyria, though, probably being egotistical, thinking he's better, decided to still pursue invading. Hence why that night the angel of the Lord went forth and struck down 185,000 men in the Assyrian camp. So then the king retreated.
Wow.
Basically, in another way, like, don't mess with the children of God or the people of God.
It's always about that in the
It's always
in the New
thing.
Testament. It seems to be always the same thing. It's always like the people of Israel. Like if you mess with them in the city, the city in general of Israel. If you mess with that city, you get messed up all the time.
Basically, yeah.
Right?
It's and I get that as how they're putting it into riddle form.
But what does that mean, though?
What does it mean?
It just
do not challenge my faith. I believe that God is always on my side. Therefore, you try to strike me down, you will only feel God's vengeance.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, I have more power. I have the Lord's power, and that's why I'm at peace.
The New Testament is just so much easier, though. This is the second. Here's the second one.
Last thing to add to that, also trust in the Lord. As in,
yeah. Here's the second.
Yep. That's Matthew chapter 7. By
Matthew, the reading. Oh, the second reading is the reading from Matthew chapter 7. Jesus said to his disciples, "Do not give what is holy to dogs, or throw your, I know, right? Or throw your perils before swine, lest they trample them underfoot and turn and tear you to pieces. Do to others whatever you would have them do to you. This is the law and the prophets. Enter through the narrow gate, for the gate is wide and the road broad that leads to destruction, and those who enter through it are many. How narrow the gate are constricted, the road that leads to life, and those who find it are few. Now I got that. That's easy. The gate, if it's open, everybody goes through that gate. It's so easy to go through that gate. But then when you have like a little narrow opening off to the side, maybe nobody sees it. Let's say you're in a herd of people.
Mm-hmm.
And really, because I really do find myself that I'm kind of a contrarian. Well, not kind of, like ultimately I'm completely a contrarian. And if I see a herd of people going one way, most likely the best way to do it, just always do the opposite. Always do that, But anyway, it's kind of like a rule of thumb.
It's kind of funny. I relate that to more to off-roading.
Yeah.
I've in the past, off-roading, the narrower path that you find that look, harder to navigate, usually ends up taking you somewhere really cool, like a cool water hole area, a cool something.
Wow.
I'm just saying,
dude, that's awesome, man. There you go. That's exactly what it is, dude. Think about it. But anyway, and enter through the narrow gate, for the gate is wide and the road broad that leads to destruction.
So it's the easy way to destroy yourself.
It's the easy way. Whenever the easy way, you're
taking shortcuts.
If you're taking that easy way, you know that you're not going to be having growth as a person.
Yeah.
You're going to stay stagnant.
Yeah.
And if you don't grow, you die.
Mm-hmm. I used to hear it in AA. It's about spiritual progress, not spiritual perfection.
Yeah, not just that. I mean, in every course of your life.
Basically.
If you're not growing, you're dying. That's just the way biology works, right?
A body in motion stays in motion, like?
Do to others what you would have them do to you. This is the law and the prophets.
Oh, wait. I get how that even relates to the other reading. Even totally more.
Mm-hmm. Do you?
Yeah.
Tell me.
The king of Assyria sent a letter saying, I'm going to invade you. I'm going to take your city. Do to others whatever you would have them do to you.
Mm-hmm.
And Hezekiah, whatever he said.
Hezekiah
said, I prayed to the Lord, and he won't let you hurt us, basically. And what happened? The king still proceeded, and he had 5,000 men killed as he was trying to invade and do the same thing, basically.
Oh, my God.
So it basically, the New Testament is an easier translation of the Older Testament, maybe. But I see both of them.
Very interesting. Very interesting, dude. You are really, man. You're.
I don't know. And again, I really never was a religious person in my life. I like riddles.
Here's some more about Saint Gonzaga.
Oh yeah, let's hear.
Today is the feast day of one of the patron saints of young people, a Jesuit seminarian by the name of Aloysius Gonzaga. Hello, I'm Father James Kubicki, and being a Jesuit myself, I always like to celebrate the feast day of my brothers in Christ. St. Aloysius grew up in the late 1500s. His family was quite wealthy and influential, and his father had big plans for his oldest son. He would be the heir, and so he sent Aloysius to serve in the court of King Philip II of Spain. But Aloysius was drawn to spiritual things more than material wealth and power, and as a teenager, he asked permission to renounce his inheritance in order to enter religious life. At first, his father opposed him, but eventually relented. As a young Jesuit seminarian in Rome at the time of the plague, Aloysius went around the city looking for the sick, whom he carried to hospitals, where he bathed them himself and prepared them for death. He contracted the dreaded disease and died when he was 23. Let's pray today that all young people may be like Saint Aloysius, loving God above all else and loving their neighbor. Here's a prayer that Saint Aloysius used to say to the Blessed Virgin. Holy Mary, my Queen, I commend myself to your blessed protection and special keeping, and to the bosom of your mercy, this day and every day of my life and the hour of my death. I entrust to you all my hopes and consolations, all my trials and miseries, my life and the end of my life, that through your most holy intercession and your merits, all my actions may be ordered and directed according to your will and that of your Son. Amen.
I think that he was, I don't know, man. Is this like a sin to say? He seems like he was probably effeminate.
I see your point on that.
And I mean,
it crossed my mind a little.
Yeah,
not a lot, but a little.
He was the disappointing son of a rich aristocrat.
That's where I thought.
And he was praying to Mary. What do you little Marys? You little Marys.
That's relating to a movie, Braveheart. Remember in
It is from a movie. That's from a movie.
Yeah, but I remember even like the
Bronx Tale.
Yeah, and then
you little Marys.
Mm-hmm.
What's up?
But in Braveheart, I believe it was with the prince or whatever, who's going to be taking over the kingdom that was attacking the Scottish, and he was effeminate, and I believe if you watch the movie or whatever, possibly even portrayed as gay.
All right, so I'm going with Saint Aloysius de Gonzaga was a gay.
Possibly.
Was probably a possibly, yeah, and that's why they made him the patron saint of children, because he looks like a youngster, always, probably.
Oh, I get it. Never mind. A patron saint of innocence.
Yeah.
Because children are pure innocence, per
right,
se.
Right.
And he still had the child, like whatever you would call it.
Yep.
Oh, all right.
I mean, whatever.
Maybe. Yeah.
Because if you're praying to Mary, there's something wrong, I think.
A little bit. And JLP's got a little bit of that. Right.
Yeah,
there.
I mean,
Listen,
I think there's nothing wrong with an occasional Hail Mary here and there.
Correct,
but in my opinion, for the most part, it should be to God.
Yeah, you don't pray to.
Yeah, it should be talk to God on my behalf.
Right, an
intercessory prayer. Yeah, not to the person. Anyway,
Mary's not God.
Yeah, and so a little bit more about this. I mean, do you know what a Jesuit is? Like, and that's also a Jesuit school, like I said. Here, no, I'll look it up. I have it. I have it right here. From the book of Wikipedia. So, the Society of Jesus. That's what the Jesuits is. It's the Society of Jesus, also known as the Jesuits. It's a religious order of the Catholic Church, headquartered in Rome. So it's a religious order. That's what I'm talking about. All these different little subgroups. It was founded by Ignatius of Loyola. They have Loyola University too, right? I bet you $1 million. Loyola, look it up. Loyola University. Tell me that's a Jesuit school.
Oh, that was the first thing that came up.
Okay, hold on. And 6 companions with the approval of Pope Paul III in 1540. The society is engaged in evangelization and apostolic ministry in 112 nations. Jesuits work in education, research, and cultural pursuits. Okay. So they're basically like Scientologists.
Yeah.
They're the Scientologists of the Catholic Church. I don't know.
Possibly. I mean, I'm not.
Jesuits also give retreats, minister in hospitals and parishes, sponsor direct social ministries, and promote ecumenical dialogue. Ecumenical dialogue. The Society of Jesus is consecrated under the patronage of Madonna della Strada, a title of the Blessed Virgin Mary, and it is led by a superior general. The headquarters of the society, its general curia, is in Rome. The historic curia of Ignatius is now part of the Colegio del Jesus or Jesu. I don't know how that's pronounced. I'm sorry, I'm very tired. Attached to the Church of the Jesu,
I think so.
the Jesuit Mother Church. Members of the Society of Jesus are expected to accept orders to go anywhere in the world where they might be required to live in extreme conditions. This was so because Ignatius, its leading founder, was a nobleman who had a military background. Okay, so they're like the Peace Corps too,
Life. Yeah.
right?
Okay.
And then they send them out, and that's how that little fruitcake got the plague.
Basically, yeah.
That's how he contracted the plague. And so, according to the open lines of the founding, and then his dad was probably like, at least he's going to toughen up, and maybe he'll turn around out of this. We'll turn around out of this. We'll stop being such a Mary. And so, accordingly, the opening lines of the founding document declared that the society was founded for whoever desires to serve as a soldier of God, to strive especially for the defense and propagation of the faith, and for the progress of souls in Christian life and doctrine. Jesuits are thus sometimes referred to colloquially as God's soldiers, God's Marines, or the company. The society participated in the Counter-Reformation and later in the implementation of the Second Vatican Council. I gotta look into them.
So they're like the special forces
Interesting.
of the Vatican? That's almost, well.
By the way, just so you could hear it, I mean, I'll try to play this for you. You're not gonna be able to hear it. There's a lot of noise in the first one, then I denoised it, and maybe you could hear it and see if you could hear a difference. But this was from the homily this morning.
To violence, and in some cultures they were like worship as God, Guiliani did that, and we are seeing that many people throughout the world. And violence was very strong in the Old Testament. Violence was using force to destroy life, to abuse people, to do bad things against others. And many times the Jew allied themselves with these people with few cultures, and sometimes these kind of bad alliances we turn against them. You see what is going on in the first reading. A lot of violence against the Jew, and because they align themselves with laws, we are assuming who really had some cultures that were not welcomed by the Leviticus and by the Old Testament. So all those as Catholic, we should really worship our true God and ally ourselves with people that really strongly believe in the body and blood of Christ, in the Eucharist, in our liturgy, and what we are professing, even though that we are always praying for the conversion of Chinese, Cubans, and other people from other cultures. Today we are celebrating the feast of Gonzaga, while the Jesuit canonized men who really dedicated his life to the Eucharist, show his respect and his faith and spirituality in the holy body from the Lord Christ that we have celebrated last Sunday. So in this Mass we are going to ask God to give us faith to respect what is sacred and make a big difference between the profane in the street and the sacred within our church. And when we come back to Mass, and we show respect to the Blessed Sacrament for the altar, by our signs, by the way that we genuflex, the way that we participate to the celebration, and by the way that we receive.
Okay. Yeah.
I
No idea, right?
no.
Nope, me neither.
I don't even know if what we heard could have been violence or it could have been another total word. I'm not saying
I figured
idea.
another thing out, I think.
You think okay?
You know, the other guy, the deacon guy that's there, that
Mhm.
that guy doesn't necessarily need to be abstinent and things like that, right?
Mhm.
That guy. That person, oh man, I wish I got recording of him. That was cool.
Was he easier to understand?
Yeah, and the way that he did it, he bellowed it. He like bellowed it, like he was like, oh, everything he said. But what that person says is what the responses are. So that's somebody who really knows the Mass really good. They're the ones who is like the cheerleader for everybody.
Yeah.
They're the ones who, and so it's basically,
Well,
if you watch it now I understand it. It's just a show between him and the priest, and they bounce off each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so when he says something, the other person says it, and then that's why they do it with two people, regardless of who's there. There could be nobody there, but it takes those two people to do it. And then I've seen the priests do it by themselves too. The priest can do it by themselves also, basically.
But it's probably easier to do it with.
If you do it by yourself, though, you don't have that cheerleader person, basically. You know, because it's like how much he could say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What I've seen too.
I feel like it benefits with having two.
Yeah. Yeah, but they were really, like, let's say they were really in sync, those guys. And I wish I got some of that. That was really, he was the best part of it, that guy.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because he had like a really crazy voice. He is some kind of Latin person, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
Nice.
That was loud and very distinguishable. He understood everything they said.
I guess, yeah. You have to figure out, you have to know what the other guy was saying.
Yeah, but you don't know. You're not going to see it.
Not like a
with that.
translator. Like
Anyway, with that, you're not going to see it. So did you catch that he talked about Gonzaga in there? Did you hear Gonzaga? Nope.
No, not at all.
You heard violence.
Yeah.
You heard Mass. You heard Eucharist, right? No?
I didn't hear Eucharist. I heard Mass. That's it.
Okay.
I heard two words, and that was what I believe was violence and Mass, which I'm like, I have no idea.
But if you imagine, though, he was, he's from Haiti.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Haitian people that come to Florida.
Yeah. Yeah.
Big populations of it. And you imagine that I'm sure he learned on the island. Yeah. And that's, imagine going to a Haitian Catholic church. That's what I'm talking about. That'd be bad. ASS. And, and imagine the stained glass in those churches. Pretty. See, that's the benefit of also when you're a Catholic and you're really into Catholicism. Mm-hmm. When you go, let's say, travel somewhere,
right?
You go on vacation, you get to go try out a new church. They're all over the place. And that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And it pipes you right in, pipes you into what people are doing. You could probably find out things like what's going on. Kind of like, Adam, my friend Adam.
Yeah.
And I joke sometimes. I've said this to you before, I think. How and I've told this to other Polish people or whatever, and I've said this joke, and they confirm that it's true. And I was like, because when I came down from Connecticut, I came down with him, right? We were looking for office and stuff.
Yeah.
And he goes, go to the Polish deli. And I go, okay. And we Googled it. We found the Polish deli. We went to the Polish deli. And immediately they're like, oh, you're new in town and you're trying to like find a place and all these other things. We had a house to live in like that day. And basically like through that, we, I think, find our shop kind of in, not directly, but indirectly. But so, and I was like, I go, so wait a second. Anywhere you go, you just go to the closest Polish deli and they just pipe you into society. And he goes, yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty awesome, man. That's pretty awesome that you have that to do. Like that and that's what any culture does.
But that's a lot.
And so Catholicism's like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's something that unifies people, brings people together.
Yeah.
And yeah. Regardless of where you are in the world, you can go to mass. Do you want to learn any more about this dude? I mean, do we basically have it with him,
I mean, from what I'm understanding,
Roman okay, so still a student of Roman culture. Victims. Gonzaga was born the eldest of 7 children at his family's castle. Okay.
It just said 7 children, not specifying.
Aloysius is the Latin form of Aloysius is the Latin form of Aloysius de Gonzaga's given name in Italian, Luigi.
Oh.
He was the son of Ferrante de Gonzaga, Marquis of Castiglione. Okay. And then also Indana Marta Tana di Santena, daughter of a baron. So this guy was full of royalty, dude. His mother was a lady in waiting to Isabel, the wife of Philip II of Spain. So as the firstborn son, he was in line to inherit his father's title and status as Marquis.
And that was a fruitcake.
I mean, that's our assumption, dude. And I don't even know if that's politically correct or anything like that, dude. To say, and I'm sorry, God, dear Lord Jesus, I apologize for if that offends people. I don't mean it, and I apologize. And then Father, Son, Holy Spirit, please help me to be a better person and not, stoop to silly jokes. So, as the firstborn son, he was in line to inherit his father's title and status of Marquis. His father assumed that Aloysius would become a soldier, as that was the norm for sons of the aristocracy, and the family was often involved in the minor wars of the period. As early as age 4, Luigi was given a set of miniature guns and accompanied his father on training expeditions so that the boy might learn the art of arms. At age 5, Aloysius was sent to a military camp to get started on his training. His father was pleased to see his son marching around camp at the head of a platoon of soldiers. His mother and his tutor were less pleased with the vocabulary he picked up there. He grew up amid the violence and brutality of Renaissance Italy and witnessed the murder of 2 of his brothers. Wow, he saw a lot of stuff. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then in 1576, at age 8, he was sent to Florence along with his younger brother, Rodolfo, to serve at the court of the Grand Duke and to receive further education. While there, he fell ill with a disease of the kidneys, which troubled him throughout his life. While he was ill, he took the opportunity to read about the saints and to spend much of his time in prayer. He is said to have taken a private vow of chastity at age 9. In November 1579, the brothers were sent to the Duke of Mantua. Aloysius was shocked by the violent and frivolous lifestyle he encountered there. Aloysius returned to Castiglione, where he met Cardinal Charles Borromeo, and from him received First Communion on the 22nd of July, 1580. After reading a book about Jesuit missionaries in India, Aloysius felt strongly that he wanted to become a missionary. He started practicing by teaching catechism classes to young boys in Castiglione in the summers. He also repeatedly visited the houses of the Capuchin friars and the Barnabites. I think we read about them before. Located in Casale Monferrato, the capital of the Gonzaga-ruled Duchy of Montferrat, where the family spent the winter. He also adopted an ascetic lifestyle. The family was called to Spain in 1581 to assist the Holy Roman Empress Maria of Austria. They arrived in Madrid in March 1582, where Aloysius and Rodolfo became pages for the young Infante Diego. Aloysius started thinking in earnest about joining a religious order. He had considered joining the Capuchins, but he had a Jesuit confessor in Madrid and decided instead to join that order. His mother agreed to his request, but his father was furious and prevented him from doing so. What is that? The cat? They don't even highlight that though. Okay. So this is kind of interesting. Maybe he's a little bit tougher than I thought, right?
Maybe.
So in July 1584, a year and a half after the Infante's death, the family returned to Italy. Aloysius still wanted to become a priest, but several members of his family worked hard to persuade him to change his mind. When they realized there was no way to make him give up his plan, they tried to persuade him to become a secular priest and offered to arrange for a bishopric for him. If he were to become a Jesuit, he would renounce any right to his inheritance or status in society. His family's attempts to dissuade him failed. Aloysius was not interested in a higher office and still wanted to become a missionary. So in November 1585, Aloysius gave up all rights of inheritance, which was confirmed by the emperor. He went to Rome and because of his noble birth, gained an audience with Pope Sixtus V. Following a brief stay at the Palazzo Aragona Gonzaga, the Roman home of his cousin, Cardinal Scipione Gonzaga, on the 25th of November, 1585, he was accepted into the Society of Jesus in Rome. During this period, he was asked to moderate his asceticism somewhat and to be more social with the other novices. So he probably was a smarty pants. He knew what was, he was like one of those, like a nerd. It's cool.
Kind of, yeah.
He knew more, like a little genius kid, but for religion. A prodigy.
Yes.
Right? So Aloysius's health continued to cause problems. In addition to the kidney disease, he also suffered from a skin disease, chronic headaches, and insomnia. He was sent to Milan for studies, but after some time, he was sent back to Rome because of his health. On the 25th of November, 1587, he took to the three religious vows of chastity, poverty, and obedience. See, that's what makes you say, you live it, you talk the talk and you walk the walk. And that's the difference between priests and ministers. In February and March 1588, he received minor orders and started studying theology to prepare for ordination. In 1589, he was called to Mantua to mediate between his brother Rodolfo and the Duke of Mantua. He returned to Rome in May 1590. It is said that later that year he had a vision in which the Archangel Gabriel told him that he would die within a year. What?
All right.
1591, plague broke out in Rome. Jesuits opened a hospital for the stricken. Obviously, idiots. Aloysius volunteered to work there.
Idiot.
After begging alms for the victims, Aloysius began working with the sick, carrying the dying from the streets into a hospital founded by the Jesuits. There he washed and fed the plague victims, preparing them as best he could to receive the sacraments. But though he threw himself into his tasks, he privately confessed to his spiritual director, Father Robert Bellarmine, that his constitution was revolted by the sights and smells of the work. He had to work hard to overcome his physical repulsion. At the time, many of the young Jesuits had become infected with the disease, and so Aloysius' superiors forbade him from returning to the hospital. But Aloysius, long accustomed to refusals from his father, persisted and requested permission to return, which was granted. Eventually, he was allowed to care for the sick, but only at another hospital called Our Lady of Consultation, where those with contagious diseases were not admitted. While there, Aloysius lifted a man out of his sickbed, tended to him, and brought him back to his bed. But the man was infected with
the plague.
The plague. Aloysius grew ill and was bedridden by the 3rd of March, 1591. And a few days before his 23rd birthday, Aloysius rallied. He died? Did I cut that off? But the man was infected with plague. Aloysius grew ill and was bedridden by the 3rd of March, 1591, a few days before his 23rd birthday. Aloysius rallied for a time, but as fever and a cough set in, he declined for many weeks. It seemed certain that he would die in a short time, and he was given extreme unction.
Anointing of the sick.
While he was ill, he spoke several times with his confessor, the cardinal, and later Saint Robert Bellarmine. Aloysius had another vision and told several people that he would die on the octave of the feast of Corpus Christi. On that day, the 21st of June, 1591, he seemed very well in the morning, but insisted that he would die before the day was over. As he began to grow weak, Bellarmine gave him the last rites and recited the prayers for the dying. He died just before midnight. Father Joseph N. Tylenda, S.J., wrote that when the two Jesuits came to his side, they noticed a change in his face and realized that their young Aloysius was dying. His eyes were fixed on the crucifix he held in his hands, and as he tried to pronounce the name of Jesus, he died. What? That is.
Wow, that's interesting.
It is interesting. So purity was his noble virtue. The Carmelite mystic saint, the Carmelites is another one, by the way.
The Order of the Brothers of the Blessed Virgin Mary of Mount Carmel.
Yep. The Carmelite mystic Saint Mary Magdalene de Pazzi claimed to have had a vision of him on April 4th, 1600. God, there's a lot of that. That date, that April date comes around a lot. 4th, 5th, 6th. She described him as radiant in glory because of his interior works, a hidden martyr for his great love of God. Aloysius was buried in the Church of the Most Holy Annunciation, which later became the Church of St. Ignatius of Loyola in Rome. His name was changed to Robert before his death in honor of his confessor. Many people considered him to be a saint soon after his death, and his remains were moved into the Sant'Ignazio Church, where they now rest in an urn of lapis lazuli in the Laccialotti chapel. His head was later transferred to the basilica bearing his name in Castiglione delle Stiviere. He was beatified only 14 years after his death by Pope Paul V on October 19th, 1605. On December 31st, 1726, he was canonized together with another Jesuit novice. That was Stanislaus Kostka by Pope Benedict the Eighth. Patronage. In 1720, 13. Sorry. I'm very, very tired.
No, I know. Yeah.
In 17, I wouldn't even normally, that's why I do this first thing in the morning, because that's when I'm at my peak mentally. That's why I insist on doing it. In 1729, Pope Benedict the 13th declared Aloysius de Gonzaga to be the patron saint of young students. In 1926, he was named patron of all Christian youth by Pope Pius XI. Owing to the manner of his death, he has been considered a patron saint of plague victims. For his compassion and courage in the face of an incurable disease, Aloysius Gonzaga has become the patron both of AIDS sufferers and their caregivers. Aloysius is also the patron of Valmontone, a town in Lazio. Aloysius Gonzaga is also celebrated in a small South Italy town called Alezio as a patron of the town, obviously. In art, Saint Aloysius is shown as a young man wearing a black cassock and surplice, or as a page. His attributes are a lily referring to innocence, a cross referring to piety and sacrifice, a skull referring to his early death, and a rosary for referring to his devotion to the Blessed Virgin Mary. Saint Aloysius' feast day is celebrated on June 21st. That's the date of his death, and that's today, guys.
Mm-hmm.
That's today. But that is interesting. That's interesting. I like the history, Yeah. So there's several buildings and institutions in Spokane, Washington that are named after Gonzaga. Gonzaga University is a Roman Catholic university, which also has St. Aloysius Gonzaga Church on its campus. I would love to go there, dude. I'm going to go there sometime. Which is overseen by the Diocese of Spokane. Gonzaga Preparatory School is a private Roman Catholic high school. Finally, St. Aloysius Gonzaga Catholic School is a K-8 school. So there's a lot of different churches. Washington, D.C. has a high school.
Yep. See that.
Parish. There's a lot of different stuff. Anyway, there's a lot of different stuff. So I like how I laid it out like this. This is better the way I like laying it out first, and just dragging each piece in there. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, that was easier.
I think that's it for the good news, dude.
Yeah, that is for the good news.
So that means, in effect, bad news, because anything from the world is bad news, and anything from the book is good news.
So, first off, I guess we'll start with the let's do the CNN one. On Trump wanting equal time.
Was it about the lawmaker?
Yeah. Lawmaker.
Yeah.
Yep.
Here.
Lawmakers react to Trump asking for equal time at January 6th hearing.
That's Eric Stallwell.
Yeah, and then the video with it.
He was the one who hooked up with the Chinese spy.
Yeah.
Basically.
Let's talk about the 1-6 committee. And former President Trump has said several times, put onto his social media, that he wants equal time to talk about what he says is the other side of the 2020 election story. You said you'd be open to that if he goes under oath. But he continues to at least suggest that he believes that he won the 2020 election. He did not. Would even that be valuable for the committee to hear from the former president?
Well, it would be valuable to show that he's a liar and that everything he has said publicly has been repudiated by the facts that they put forward. And Victor, during the second impeachment trial, we made this offer to the former president. We said, come on down. If you are truly innocent, nothing would stop you. You would crawl through glass and walk through fire to come tell the country that you did not incite and aim this insurrection at the Capitol. He didn't do that. Here he's asking for equal time, and the commissioners would love, I'm sure, to hear from the president. But everyone around him, most people like Mark Meadows and others, keep saying, I'll see you in court, again, revealing a consciousness of guilt. Donald Trump doesn't want equal time. He just wants to make a mockery of this process. But the evidence so far overwhelmingly has shown that Donald Trump assembled the mob, aimed the mob, and incited the mob as they violently tried to overthrow the Capitol, and he had no legal basis for any belief that he spewed to the mob.
Put me on. Well, this kind of goes along with it. You know what? On my drive back,
Yeah.
I was listening to some of the
You too? J6 hearings?
Yeah.
I was too.
Were you?
Yep, a little bit. Probably for the first, maybe 30 minutes, 40 minutes or so. And I just got tired of the worldly.
First of all, this is a shift. This is Shifty Schiff yesterday on CNN or MSNBC. CNN. Watch this.
Hearing will include evidence about Trump electors in battleground states who submitted fake electoral college ballots, even though Trump lost these states that we're talking about. We have already heard that Trump campaign officials were involved in that. Do you have evidence that the former president himself was involved?
Yes, we'll show evidence of the president's involvement in this scheme. We'll also, again, show evidence about what his own lawyers came to think about this scheme. And we'll show courageous state officials who stood up and said they wouldn't go along with this plan to either call legislatures back into session or decertify the results for Joe Biden. The system held because a lot of state and local elections officials upheld their oath to their Constitution. A lot of them Republicans as well as Democrats.
Just to be clear, you said you have evidence that the then president was involved in putting a fake slate of electors out there. Do you have evidence that he directed it?
I don't want to get ahead of our hearing. We'll show during our hearing what the president's role was in trying to get states to name alternate slates of electors, how that scheme depended initially on hopes that the legislatures would reconvene and bless it.
Will we see that he directed it?
They didn't, and they pressed forward with it anyway.
Will we see that he directed it?
I don't want to get ahead of what we'll show you during the hearing, but we will show you what we know about his role in this.
Your committee sent a letter to Ginny Thomas, the wife of Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas. The letter went out on Thursday.
That was
Mr. Schiff.
That was Mr. Schiff, yeah. So now couple that with what was this little excerpt. It's like about 7 minutes. And while that's I'm gonna go really pee. But have you heard this? So listen to it. Do you need a water or something?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Listen to this. Watch this, whatever. This is a little excerpt from the J6 thing that I snipped out. This is a legislator from Arizona.
Yes, I watched that part.
You watch this part?
Yes. That was the only part I did.
And you asked him for evidence of that.
I did.
And did you ever receive from him that evidence either during the call, after the call, or to this day?
Never.
What was the ask during this call? He was making these allegations of fraud, but he had something or a couple things that they wanted you to do. What were those?
The ones I remember were first that we would hold, that I would allow an official committee at the Capitol so that they could hear this evidence and that we could take action thereafter. And I refused. I said, up to that time, the circus, I called it a circus, had been brewing with lots of demonstrations, both at the counting center, at the Capitol, and other places. And I didn't want to have that in the House. I did not feel that the evidence
granted in its absence, merited a hearing, and I didn't want to be used as a pawn if there was some other need that the committee hearing would fulfill. So that was the first ask, that we hold an official committee hearing.
And what was his second ask?
I said, to what end? To what end the hearing? He said, well, we have heard by an official high up in the Republican legislature that there is a legal theory or a legal ability in Arizona that you can remove the electors of President Biden and replace them. And we would like to have the legitimate opportunity through the committee to come to that end and remove that. And I said, that's something that's totally new to me. I've never heard of any such thing. And he pressed that point. And I said, look, you are asking me to do something that is counter to my oath when I swore to the Constitution to uphold it. And I also swore to the Constitution and the laws of the state of Arizona. And this is totally foreign as an idea or a theory to me. And I would never do anything of such magnitude without deep consultation with qualified attorneys. And I said, I've got some good attorneys, and I'm going to give you their names. But you are asking me to do something against my oath, and I will not break my oath. And I think that was up to that point.
During the conversation, and you heard, I think, when we played a snippet of Mr. Giuliani calling other state legislators and saying that he was calling as essentially a fellow Republican, did he make a similar appeal to you or bring up the fact that you shared a similar party?
Whether it was in that call or in a later meeting, he did bring that up more than once.
And how would he bring that up?
He would say, aren't we all Republicans here? I would think we would get a better reception. I mean, I would think you would listen a little more open to my suggestions that we're all Republicans.
And this evidence that you asked him for that would justify this extraordinary step, I think you said they never produced. Why did you feel, either in the absence of that evidence or with it, what they were asking you to do would violate your oath to the Constitution?
First of all, when the people, and in Arizona, I believe some 40 plus years earlier, the legislature had established the manner of electing our officials, or the electors for the presidential race. Once it was given to the people, as in Bush v. Gore, illustrated by the Supreme Court, it becomes a fundamental right of the people. So as far as I was concerned, for someone to ask me in the, I would call it a paucity, there was no evidence being presented of any strength. Evidence can be hearsay evidence, it's still evidence, but it's still hearsay. But strong judicial quality evidence, anything that would say to me, you have a doubt, deny your oath. I will not do that. And on more than one occasion throughout all this, that has been brought up, and it is a tenet of my faith that the Constitution is divinely inspired of my most basic foundational beliefs. And so for me to do that because somebody just asked me to is foreign to my very being. I will not do it.
And that was
during
it.
that conversation.
That was it.
Yeah. That was the main thing. Am I on? Oh.
You don't have your headphones on. Yeah.
So.
Yes.
Did you hear? Okay, so a couple takeaways there. Did you hear the thing about how like emotional he got because of he was equating it to like to biblical too, like the foundation of the Constitution, things like that. What do you think?
I think he's trying to use, per se, conservative value to back him.
Mm-hmm.
However, I don't know much on that.
He's been called a rhino.
Yeah,
Trump called him a rhino.
I don't know much on him. As in,
I don't know either to really opine.
He sounds like a rhino to me.
But do you get the whole thing, like what they're talking about as far as? Did you hear the part about like making up fake? They keep on saying fake electors.
Yeah,
you heard that part, right?
Yeah,
they said that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They talk about like the fake voting, the fake ballots, basically.
Right.
The fake name, the people that were apparently dead, the people that were
the electors.
The electors.
Yeah. They didn't talk about the electors?
I didn't.
Huh? You missed that part?
I missed that.
And you asked him for evidence.
You have a doubt. I don't know Arizona law or any other laws, but but when they asked me, and which he ultimately did, I think he was a little frustrated, but he ultimately.
State legislature?
It was not.
During that conversation, Speaker Bowers, did you ask him if what he was proposing had ever been done before?
I did.
And what did he say?
He said, well, I'm not familiar with Arizona law or any other laws, but I don't think so. And that also was brought up in other conversations, both with him and with John Eastman and others.
Speaker Bowers, I understand that a week after that call, Mr. Giuliani appeared with others associated with President Trump's effort to overturn the result of the election at a purported legislative hearing in a hotel ballroom in Phoenix.
This is just more about.
Was this an official hearing of the state legislature?
The fact that that's not an official hearing. That's not a big deal. But
was it
okay,
not?
so no, you miss. I don't know if you missed this part, but there's. So what they're saying is that Trump contacted him, right? He's saying,
yeah.
And he said we want to switch out basically our electors.
The election.
The electors. That's like the foundation of why we're a republic. That's why we're a republic and we're not a democracy, is because we have the electorate system.
Yeah.
And all these, there's a select group of people, right? They go, your vote counts for like all these people in this area. Whatever it is, whatever everybody's like,
yeah, that's
is,
how.
You're going to go vote for that.
Right.
So these electors already are voting for like a majority Biden, and he's going, there's some kind of law. There's a law.
Yeah.
There's an interpretation. Remember when we were watching?
Now I know where you're talking.
Remember when we were watching Vice?
Yeah. Which
And
time? Which time?
Vice, the movie.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
The other night.
Mm-hmm.
And they had that Unitarian executive law. They're like they just have this theory. And so they came up with a theory too. These guys just came up with a theory too. Rudy Giuliani and Trump, and it is like kind of it sounds like a mafia tactic kind of.
Well,
you know, change.
It does, yeah.
We're gonna switch out the electors.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we got our own electors. They're gonna come in here. We're gonna switch these other electors out, right? Mm-hmm. And we're gonna let the courts decide. That's what they basically just said. He was saying, and he's like, I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah. No, I remember. Now I remember that part. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't hear the word.
So the grand scheme is they're saying that this is what they're charging Trump with.
Right. This is the funnier part too. Is that this is not this is not a court case. This is not a criminal charge yet. This is almost like a group to decide.
I mean, it could be. It could lead to it. Maybe. This is just the court of public opinion, correct?
Well, I was saying this is just a court of like, should we even do this? Because basically they're trying to get all the evidence, which I don't believe that they really produced any credible evidence. To what? They're just, like you said, it's all about public opinion, and they're making a mockery. They're making a mockery of the justice system. They're trying to pretend like this is
They're putting a lot of things together. I mean,
this is a mockery of it.
A lot of different things together into one thing.
How are they acting? Like look at the head of it, right? He's acting like a judge.
It's like an unorganized, denomination of Christian, just misinterpreting the Bible.
I guess I'm not seeing that comparison.
Sorry.
But it's just, he's acting like a judge. Schiff
Yes.
is acting like I guess you would call it a prosecutor per se.
Yes.
And then these guys they're special witnesses are all like, they're paid for, they're bought.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just going to push this narrative. I have yet, since watching it, see any credible evidence of what they're trying to prove. And once again, why I can only watch it for a short amount of time, it's not a criminal case.
No,
there's
but
nothing yet.
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
what I mean, there's nothing. And they're putting all this coverage on it. What are they really? What are they hiding behind closed doors?
No, what are they?
Really
What
doing?
are they doing? They don't want Trump to win.
Yeah, but what are they
So
really doing that they're not wanting to report on?
But here's what they're doing, though. Here's what they are doing. Tell you what they're doing right now. Just like we're talking about how they're the pool of probable. Remember when we had the J6 guy on?
Yeah,
a couple weeks ago, whatever, right? And I was talking about how they're basically, these are all the whole American population are potential jurors.
Well,
and so there's no way nobody's going to see this. You're not going to see this. So everybody's going to be exposed to this. So they're doing the same thing to the voters. So we're all potential voters, right? And so they're going on dude. Think about it. Right at 8 o'clock at night, 7 o'clock at night. Well, this was in the middle of the day, but the first one was.
Yeah.
But the way they're doing it, it's just to get Trump out of office so he can't win, so he can't run. That's all it is.
Well, yeah, they're trying to still push that pendulum.
The same thing that they've always done. They did it for the last 4 years while he was in office. They're doing the same thing now again. They're doing it so they, preemptive strike.
They're trying to.
Yeah.
However, what was a little bit of the takeaway from the good news?
What was it?
Do on to
others
what you want from them,
Yeah.
They're pushing the karma way too far. I'm serious. They're pushing everything way too far.
Yeah.
Which, sorry, but that's just, I think, going to speed it up.
That's how you have things that like J6.
You know what I mean? It's going to speed. No, but the karma is going to come back on them.
Mm-hmm.
And the worst part is, on their end, I don't think they see it. And the more that they put out there, I just sit back and laugh because the more I know that they're going to get, per se, screwed in the end.
I love it though that you brought up karma, because I wasn't even thinking that, and that is the obvious thing. That is what it is.
That's why I'm saying I can't.
It's karma, and that's why the golden rule. That is, and see how spiritual Catholicism is.
I have karma tattooed on my chest.
You do?
I got that when I was that was my first tattoo. I think I just turned 18.
Wow.
And I went and got it, and to this day, it's probably actually my favorite. I love it. It means a lot to me, basically.
Do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. So listen to Giuliani talking about this. Watch this.
Oh, yeah.
Cover them in Washington, D.C. They say your name.
The J6 committee is just a continuation of the Russian collusion fraud. It's the same people. Look at them. Look at their faces. They're the same liars who said that Trump was colluding with Russia. They've never apologized for it. If they lie about that, they lie about this. And if Trump was telling the truth about that, he's telling the truth about that.
We're going to get them. We got to get them.
They are proven liars who tried to destroy this country. It's a shame that television even allows them on.
Why are they after you? Thank you.
It's a shame that television even allows them on. It's pretty funny. I like how they end with that.
It just amazing.
So you got Biden.
Oh yeah, which
go with the headline.
All right, hold on. Oh yeah, Biden takes shot at reporter saying recession could be inevitable. Don't make things up. And the video with it.
No. That's my press secretary daughter. I promise.
Recession's even more likely than ever.
Not the majority of them aren't saying that. Come on, don't make things up, okay? Now you sound like a Republican politician. I'm joking. That was a joke. But all kidding aside, no, I don't think it is. I was talking to Larry Summers this morning, and there's nothing inevitable about a recession. Here's what I think we're going to be able to do. I think we're going to be able to get a change in Medicare and a reduction in the cost of insulin. Insulin, if you know anybody who has type 2 diabetes or has a child that has it, they need the shots during the week. It can cost them up to $1,000 a week.
By the way,
It need not cost more than $35. And they're still going to make 3.5 times what they invested in the insulin. We also can move in a direction that we can provide for the tax, increasing the taxes on those in the corporate area, as well as the individuals as it relates to Trump's tax cut, which is inflationary. And going out and buying a yacht doesn't help the economy a whole lot. We also, I'm working with our team, is put together at the same time. My dear mother used to have an expression, out of everything lousy, something good will happen if you look hard enough for it. Mm-hmm. We have a chance here to make a fundamental turn toward renewable energy, electric vehicles, and not just electric vehicles, but across the board. And that's something we should be. My team is going to be sitting down with the CEOs of the major oil companies this week and try to get an explanation how they justify making $35 billion in the first quarter.
Are you planning to sit down with oil and gas CEOs,
No.
Mr. President? Why is that, sir?
Because my team's going to do that.
Okay. But you did that with retailers and logistics companies and consumer companies.
Because I have it already done.
How can they pump more if they're already at capacity?
Well, they can, because what they're doing, first of all, what they've done is they cut back on the refining capacity. All this stuff you hear about and you guys have to report that Biden limited the amount of oil. They have 9,000 leases. 9,000 leases on public land. And they should either use it or lose it. And that's number one. Number two, the problem is what they've done is they've cut back on refining. And they say because they don't want to get caught in a position where eventually they're going to move to alternative energy, renewable energy, and they don't want to get stuck. Well, guess what? There's a logical transition to be made here. And I want an explanation from them as to why they aren't refining more oil.
I mean, I love how he just tries to shift the blame.
Yeah.
And like he doesn't seem like he wants to take kind of any
ownership.
Any. I mean, he
just plays the old dope. That's what they used to do all the time before Trump. And I think what he's trying to do is go back into that role, that dopey role that we're all used to.
Yeah.
Where the president doesn't really know the inner workings. My team is going to do it. My team's going to do it. Do you understand? Do you understand what they're trying to do? See what they're doing? See what they're doing?
Well, yeah, I see that a lot.
They're getting more to the bureaucracy end of it. They're the system that's in place. What is they call it? The institution.
Mm-hmm.
They're always talking about the institution. Our institutions.
Yeah,
they're like sacred. They're sacred.
Bush
like
do it like years ago. Like he always used my team. He didn't really make it always about him, like what he was doing in his efforts against, not like whatever.
You gotta think back on it. I think it's more Dems do it more.
Yeah, but you know what?
I think Dems do it more.
They do, but I can remember Bush kind of relying a lot more on his boy, not really saying like what he proactively wants to do.
Well, that's when in Vice we learned.
Yeah.
Because remember the person who was taking the helm of everything, right, was Dick Cheney.
Yeah.
So, Liz Cheney's dad, who's heading, or one of the, I think she's like the or like the vice. Yeah. Speaking of Vice, I think she's the vice chair.
I think
J6. Yeah. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. She is.
And then you have something about Caitlyn Jenner here.
Yeah,
Caitlyn Jenner, the media ignored.
Oh, yeah. Caitlyn Jenner, the media ignored Biden's bike fall. But aren't we used to that? And then on the bottom here, I just want to read this. Caitlyn Jenner, Biden has been on wrong side of every issue.
So that's funny. That's at least she's dude. Oh, I saw this.
Oh, there's a video with it.
Isn't there? Is it the media reactions?
Huh?
Or is it media reactions to Biden?
Yeah.
Is that what that is? Let me see if this goes well.
Caitlin, we have some receipts that I want to pull up. This is from Drew Holden. He does these epic threads that compare media headlines, and here are some of them. Okay, Trump, New York Times. This was the worst of them. Trump's halting walk-down ramp raises new health questions. The president also appeared to have trouble raising a glass of water to his mouth during a speech at West Point a day before he turned 74, the oldest the president has been in the first term until now, by the way. Then New York Times, same publication, Biden doing 100% fine after tripping while boarding Air Force One. Washington Post, Trump tries to explain his slow and unsteady walk. Same Washington Post, Biden stumbles climbing stairs to board Air Force One. CNN, why Donald Trump West Point ramp story actually matters. Biden is fine after falling off his bike in Delaware. I can assure you President Trump had no problems drinking glasses of water and doing 5 rallies in one day.
First of all, everybody here at Fox News, aren't we kind of used to all of this? Yeah. It's been going on for the last 10, 20 years, and it's only gotten worse. Like Joe, I ride bikes. I'm an avid biker. I've crashed on my bike. I've got my toe clip caught, and you stop, especially mountain biking where you're going over rocks and everything, and had a big crash, okay? It's not that. It's about his mental fitness, his mental energy. He just doesn't have it. He has a history of being wrong on every subject. He's been in politics for 50 years. He's been on the wrong side of every issue. And unfortunately, now he's president, where he's in a position where he has tremendous influence. And yes, the media does ignore it. But at this point, we're kind of used to it. I mean, we just have to continue our fight. We cannot just let these things happen anymore. We have to continue to expose to the people exactly what the truth is.
Good job on getting that one.
That was the reason I like this video so much is because it really is showing how much the world changing in a good way, like that pendulum's coming back.
Yeah, I know. A little bit, right?
Well, I mean, come on. She's on here talking about, she mentioned like he's been in office for 50 years. And unfortunately, now he's our president. He's been wrong on every issue.
Right.
Come on.
Yep.
If that's not showing like
he's been making wrong decisions in politics since Caitlyn Jenner was a man.
Ooh, that's a little rough, bud.
Yeah.
please don't hurt us, YouTube.
How about this in Europe? Did you hear about this? Now, you know what they're going to do in Europe?
Oh, no, I'm worried.
No, they're thinking about going, because of this, Biden inflation and things like that. I guess, man, okay, so this doesn't, let me think about this. Let me be honest with myself. Number one, I got to say, I don't know what it is about Biden.
Yeah.
He's like a lovable idiot. I mean, I don't know why, but like, I don't hate him. I don't. And like the way that he responds like this way. Hunter Biden is like, now that I know that they're Catholic, Hunter Biden is the quintessential, let's say he's the saint of Catholic school, like messed up kids, like juvenile delinquent Catholic school kids. Of course. And his mother died.
Yeah.
Right? Oh my God. And he comes from wealth and stuff. Dude, he comes from privilege. He was the ultimate Catholic school kid. Think about it. If you look it up, I bet you $1 million. I don't even know. I don't even know the background. I don't even know the background, but I bet you $1 million I went to Catholic school.
Let's see.
But there's something like stupidly likable about Biden,
Like his father and brother, Hunter Biden attended Catholic high school, Archmere Academy in Claymont, Delaware.
Of course.
And he graduated with a bachelor's in art and whatever from Georgetown in 92.
Right, but he went to Catholic school.
Whatever.
Yeah. That's exactly, I know that. The hookers and all that stuff, dude, that's a Catholic school kid who totally never reeled it in. He never reeled it in. He just went. That's when the Catholic school kid who's lashing out at their parents is on steroids.
He's just on crack.
And crack. So, yeah, we made the connection there, right? So, but okay, so let's be honest with ourselves, though, because this is going on in Europe. They're having a gas shortage. And they're thinking about going back to coal. So is it really? I guess it is because Biden stopped all the pipeline, everything like that. But also, is there a world element? Is there a global element to this? I don't know. Check this out.
Europe's biggest buyers of Russian gas are racing to find alternative fuel supplies, and some may even turn back to coal. With Europe and Russia at odds over the Ukraine war, some European leaders face the threat of an energy crisis this winter if gas stores are not refilled. Italy's Eni said it was told by Russia's Gazprom it would receive only part of its request for gas supplies Monday. That has pushed the country closer to declaring a state of alert, which could lead to gas-saving measures. Germany has also faced lower Russian flows. The country announced Sunday it planned to boost gas storage levels. It even said it could restart coal-fired power plants it had aimed to phase out. Economy Minister Robert Habeck called the measure painful but a sheer necessity. Otherwise, he said, Germany could be blackmailable at a political level. Habeck is a member of the Green Party that has pushed for a quicker exit from coal, which produces more greenhouse gases. Russian gas flows to Germany through the Nord Stream 1 pipeline were still running at about 40% of capacity Monday. Russia's state-controlled Gazprom last week cut throughput along Nord Stream 1, which is the main route supplying Europe's largest economy. It blamed the apparent return of equipment being serviced by Germany's Siemens Energy. But German and Italian officials have said Russia was using that as an excuse to reduce supplies.
Okay. So you see that it's happening everywhere, right?
I do. It's like it's
so,
all part of the plan.
but it is part of the plan because it's happening to Russia. They're attributing it to the Russia thing, the whole Russia-Ukraine thing, which could be, but we're not going to talk about that too much about what you think and. Yeah, that's all a facade and a false narrative, right? That whole thing.
Everything.
We're rooting for Putin. Let me play these. Okay, I got another one right here, but I want to get your gauge on this. This is like interesting. Do you think that this is legal self-defense? And I'm going to have to drop our background for 2 seconds so you see the whole thing, because I don't think you could see it when I have it on there.
Get down! Put your fucking hands up, pussy. Put your fucking hands up, pussy. Get down. Put your fucking hands up, pussy. Put the fucking gun down and scrap like a man, bitch. Scrap like a man, bitch. Put your motherfucker. I'm gonna think that. Ow! 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 Ow!
Oh my God.
There's a reason I can't really give a perfect answer on that.
Mm-hmm.
What preceded that? Like, what was before the gun was pulled or whatever? What was said?
Oh, well, the backstory is that guy is supposedly was a stalker, and he had a knife on him.
The guy that without the gun.
Yeah. That's supposedly the background on it. So that guy had a knife on him, whatever, and was a stalker. Was waiting for him there, and it was like the second night or third night in a row or something like that. I don't know, something like that. You got to look it up, guys. But just looking at it, watching that, man, you want to see it again?
No, it does look like self-defense.
You want to see it again?
Regardless,
it's crazy, right?
Yeah, regardless of what.
But do you see how fast like a bullet changes everything? Though it's like he's like, come on, pump his ego.
What was
boosting up his ego? Being, I'm in the car. That's it. I'm gonna take that away from you. boom.
Well, I mean,
Oh my God.
I hate saying it like this again,
Dude.
but what was the takeaway?
But
of today?
don't learn the hard way, bro. What?
Well,
what was the takeaway?
The
Don't do your
do to others whatever you would have them do to you.
Right. So if you're attacking somebody,
and I mean, I'm sorry, but here's another old cliche statement.
Yep.
Don't bring a knife to a
gunfight. Yeah.
Exhibit A.
Yeah.
You brought a knife, which means you are. What are you gonna do? Slap them with the blunt side of the knife, or are you trying to stab or slice somebody, which could kill them?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sorry.
Don't
but
be doing that anyway.
That would pretty much just.
Don't be doing stalk. And we don't know the background of why he's a stalker either. So
No, the only.
but whatever,
way-
it doesn't
yeah.
matter. When it comes down to it, you're approaching. He said, "You have a gun, dude. The guy has a gun. Why would you approach? You don't. You don't approach. You're insane if you do. And that's like suicide by police. That's why that's a common thing. They're doing it. They're approaching, and they're like, "I'm telling you, I'm going to shoot
yeah.
you."
They-
It's the same thing as that.
I mean, this guy. Now, I will say this: if
Mhm.
he's a stalker, and possibly he might have been out of his mind, whether it be insane, psychotic, or who knows, maybe high on something.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're right, like the normal person would respond, or normal person would respond.
And unless if he
back off.
yeah, if somebody was coming at you like that though, too, they take the shirt off, they're coming at you. Think about that.
You're just
They're
like,
attacking you. They're coming into your
Yeah.
zone. They're going to attack you,
and
they're going to take that gun away from you. Now that you have the gun out, now you have to shoot. You do have to shoot at that
That
point.
guy was in his. I don't care what state you were in.
Yeah,
That guy had the right to defend himself.
and it's insane that he's on the ground whimpering and crying.
I get it. I'm sure it
and
sucks
squealing,
To be shot.
squealing.
Well, I'm sure it sucks to be shot.
It does, dude. Why would you do that? Why would you continue? Why would you approach? Man, he's in that guy. If he survives, and he probably will. I think he just got like a little shot on the side or something like that, probably.
Yeah,
But
I didn't.
I don't
see
think he
exactly
probably
where,
died, but
yeah.
you know, because he's squealing like that. However, I'm just saying he's gonna change his life after. And you bet. I bet you $1 million he doesn't do that anymore.
Yeah, but you know what? If the backstory is true, right?
Mm-hmm.
Stalking and going private property, all the laws that he broke on that.
Yeah.
When is he gonna have another chance to do that again? He might go to jail for a long time.
Maybe he will.
Or prison.
How about this, dude? This is crazy.
Uh-oh.
Well, have you seen the Tyler? This is Tyler Hansen, who was in I think he filmed Ashley Babbitt
Yeah.
being shot.
Mm-hmm.
So he is in, I think, Austin still. He was the one who broke the trans video from last time.
Okay.
This is another one. He said, here's a supercut of drag event with children in attendance today in Dallas, Texas. Sorry, it's Dallas.
Oh, Dallas.
If I were to bring a toddler or infant into a strip club, I would be arrested immediately and CPS would take my child. A hypersexual show is no place for children. So, and I'm going to drop the background for a second when I play this because I don't want to cut it out. Here we go.
my fellow big dick person? Yeah. Don't forget, guys, we do have that $4 pink pussy, so it's really good. Wow. Y'all don't fear my child over here. No. I'm so sorry, baby. This is why I don't bring him to work. Oh, my God. What noise was that? Wow. Where did you learn that trick with your mouth? Oh, my God. Hi, my love.
How are you?
I'm great, thank you. It's good to see you again. So I saw that you were reporting, right?
Yes.
And you love to post on Twitter and call us pedophiles and disgusting human beings, don't you?
Only if there's kids involved.
Only if there's kids involved. Why are you here?
If there's kids involved.
Why?
If
Who
there's
gives
kids
a shit if there's kids involved?
It's a little weird.
We have an infant over there. Do you think that's looking weird? There's an infant over here?
No, but the kids that were crying earlier were like.
They were crying. They were not crying, first of all.
He was right there crying.
He was covering his ears because the speaker is right there. They made that executive decision to kids out because it's loud in here, not because we have drag queens here. Get it right. Yeah, so let's get the fuck up. Take your little sip, bitch, and get the fuck out of here.
Thank you.
Get out, bitch. Get the fuck out. Get out. Fuck you on your Twitter, homophobic.
So as you see, we were just removed from the show. So I'd say that was fun, but it wasn't. It was quite miserable, actually, but I am drunk before 3 p.m., so that's a perk.
Guess I let my feelings take control. Guess I let my demon take the wheel. Used to think that we be wrong.
Okay. So
that's nauseating, enraging almost.
It is?
Almost.
Rage against the dying of the light.
It's just like, I feel like it's almost evil at like, it's almost like evil in its human form.
Who gives a SH if there's kids involved? Huh.
Like, really? Like, who cares if kids are involved?
And it's interesting that this is the patron saint day of Aloysius Gonzaga, who is the patron saint of children. If you look at the cover and stuff, that's where this all comes from. Look, see? June 21st. You know? So let's read the meditation. And then I guess that's it, right? Then we'll go in peace to love and serve the Lord, because the podcast will be over at that point.
Yeah.
Today's meditation comes to us from Saint Aloysius.
Of course.
Of course, man. It's called Following the Road That Leads to Life.
Okay.
You are made for God and obliged to tend towards Him because of your being, redemption, and vocation. From this, you will conclude that you are bound not only to abstain from every evil deed, but even from those that are indifferent and useless. And on the contrary, to make every endeavor that all your actions, interior and exterior, may be virtuous, so that you may always draw nearer to God. Afterwards, in order to descend more to particulars in serving God, you must establish within yourself these other three principles. First, that by the vocation of the members of the Society of Jesus, and yours in particular, you are called to follow the standard of Christ and of his saints. Hence it follows that in every office, duty, and exercise, you will consider it as belonging to your vocation, and on your side will avoid or embrace it as much as it is comfortable to the example of Christ and of his saints. For this reason, you will make yourself well acquainted with the life and actions of Christ by meditating on them, and with those of the saints by consideration and reflection. Lead a religious and spiritual life, inasmuch as your interior you seek to guide yourself according to the rules of eternity and not of mind, so that in all your affections, desires, and joys, you must have a spiritual motive, and the same in what displeases you, being convinced that in this consists spirituality. As the devil continually attacks you by vanity and self-esteem, and as this is the weak side of your soul, you must the more strenuously and constantly endeavor to resist him by humility. Wow, you know what, dude? What I like about this, my takeaway, is that they say the two magic words, and I didn't even say those words today in the beginning. I forgot. But the main basic thing that we do is we ankle bite off JLP.
Yep.
Because this is the RVP show, whatever, kindish.
Yeah.
And we're, we're taking JLP, if you know the inside baseball of what we're talking about. What I think is the epiphany I learned from him is, and this is just, and then you take it with you and you go into Catholic Church and expand on it. But he'll call it something else and he won't say what it is.
Yeah.
But what, in my opinion, this is what it is. This is the goal. The goal should always be peace, but it's meditation plus spirituality equals peace. That's the arithmetic you have to do. Meditation plus spirituality equals peace. And if you have just the meditation, you don't have any spirituality, well, that's fruitless. Now, if you have the spirituality, but you don't have the meditation, that's inarticulate. You can sit there and you can say whatever you want to in your brain. That's not going to work. You got to get it in your heart. And the only way to do that is to shut off your brain. Man, Ram Dass, I was on the toilet, dude, for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes before we started, right?
Actually, I want to say it was more like an hour.
Was it really?
It was more like 45 minutes.
No, I was doing other things.
Oh, you okay? Well, yeah, you were in there for like 45 minutes.
I took a shower.
Oh, I didn't know. I'm just sitting there like,
but
okay.
I'm not gonna be able to find it right now, but they were just talking about this. Ram Dass was just talking about this. I guess I could I'll try to sum it up the best I can, but they had it really easy on Instagram. They had it broken down with these little slides, like 6 slides.
Right.
But he talks about the ego and stuff, and how the ego, you should use it as a tool. Once you figure out that the ego is more like your brain, I would think. That's what I think. And if we're equating it to this.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you use, like, the ego is all about, if you think of it like this. Yeah, like you, but you on this planet Earth.
Yes.
Like if you were in this meat body and this was just a vehicle that you're in, because the soul is the true thing. The soul is inside this. Like you're an astronaut, basically, right?
Yeah.
And so if you're too into the thing and you think that really is you, though, your meat body's you, that's where you have the problems, and that's where it goes in all the things. But if you know that could be a tool to use, like a video game, dude, like you're using your ego for everyday things, right? You have to. Yeah. You have to reason to buy an airplane ticket. You got to make a plan. You got to live in the moment to some extent, but plans do come into it as well. So you're going to not completely kill. This is basically what Ram Dass says, but he says it so much better in the slides. So you're not going to completely kill the ego. You're going to work with it, but you're going to like hush it up a lot. You're going to shut it up a lot, but you're going to, you're going to use it to your advantage in like the game of life. and make it do the right things.
It's basically what the Bible's teaching.
Yeah, but it's similar to what we're talking about now. But I do like how Aloysius mentions meditation in here and spirituality. He says the two words.
Because as you say, and I mean just in general, yes, those two things are two different things.
Yes, he does. He says, for this reason, you will make yourself well acquainted with the life and actions of Christ by meditating on them and with those of the saints by consideration and reflection. And then he says, where does he talk about, is it the next one?
I think so.
Wow, it's the next, basically the next sentence. Because it's a run-on sentence, a long sentence. Lead a religious and spiritual life inasmuch as in your interior you seek to guide yourself according to the rules of eternity and not of time. So that's interesting. Think about that.
Yeah.
So that in all your affections, desires, and joys, you may have a spiritual motive. And the same in what displeases you, being convinced in this consists spirituality. Okay. Anyway. So.
Well, that's easy to understand.
But you know what? Why do all these guys, all these saints too, they have one thing in common. They're all like great writers. A lot of them are like excellent writers.
That's kind of easy.
What? They're just communicate like a priest. A priest is a communicator.
Great communicators.
Yep.
It doesn't matter what form you choose. Is a great communicator. Like,
what's the word that we learned? Orator.
That's a communicator, as well as a journalist, as well as any type of communication source. Anything.
Comedians.
Actors,
Sure, comedians can write. It's all communications.
Hey, I mean, musicians and comedians. I'm gonna put it out there. The
Snoop Dogg could hold his own, man.
I don't care if somebody else wrote that for him. I don't care about that.
Well, no, that's like
he did it. He performed it and made it funny.
Dude, he's been performing for how many years, bro? Come on. He's completely comfortable on stage.
I think he just turned 50 something.
Come on, man. We're talking about the worldly stuff, though.
Yeah.
Because you know why? Because you got to live. Because we do got to live here.
That's why when he said he just turned 50.
Ram Dass?
No, Snoop Dogg.
Oh. No, I'm saying Ram Dass, though, what I was talking about before.
Oh, yeah. But he is right. You have to negotiate, per se, with the ego and work with the ego because, you are still a soul, but you are also of this world. I mean, think about you could shut your brain off to an extent, but it needs to operate. A balance.
You gotta have a balance.
Yeah, there's always a balance.
But you do gotta know that, just like Aloysius talks about, it's not about time, it's about eternity.
It's not about this time.
Yeah.
Instead.
Yeah. So that
this time, meaning don't hyper focus and hyper analyze.
Build your treasures in heaven,
not for earth. Like, I mean, come on, we're only here for. I mean, I know the Guinness Book World Record people are like 100 and almost 20. And
oh my God, let's not start getting into this because it's depressing.
No. What I'm saying is, you live for an average of probably, I say now, 80 to 90 years, right?
Right.
That's it.
I would say less.
Your soul can live on
forever.
Eternity. Mm-hmm. What is 80 years to 1,000?
Right. Exactly.
Sorry, I hit the button.
Exactly. Think when you think about it and you put that in perspective, and you don't think like these heathens who have no religiosity whatsoever, and they just think, "Oh, I'm just going to do whatever I want to do."
Yeah.
Because you only die once.
Yeah. I mean, they think. I think you live on forever in some world, whether it's heaven, hell, purgatory, or
why is that? Or is that your ego telling you that?
No, is
that your ego telling you that maybe you should just be passing through here, and it's good to just pass through here,
Yeah.
and then go back into the ether?
Yeah,
because you know what?
Yeah.
Do you remember how it was like before you were born?
No.
Same way. You didn't exist before. Remember? Did you care? Did you mind?
You know, it's kind of like, I feel like it's almost like a revisitation. I don't feel like you don't necessarily hold on to the exact memory, the exact things of that time. But there are people when like you meet them and there's almost this like, somehow like you two first meet and you just vibe right away. I think you were talking, that's kind of how you and I think when you met Piazza or whatever, when you were working at that store, no, I think that was
no,
it was someone else. Where like you,
no,
it was no,
I don't think I knew anybody who was like, oh, I knew you in a past life or anything like that.
No, not just like don't just think of it in that sense.
Piazza was Piazza's a Catholic kid too. He doesn't think like that either.
What I mean is like when you meet someone, how sometimes you can quickly build a friendship with someone.
Okay.
Versus with someone else. Doesn't matter if you went to school every day with them or whatever. You just had a hard time being.
For some reason, you just attract each other.
Right. Like you didn't. Yeah. It doesn't matter who it was. There was just that one person and maybe it was on the subway. You just sat there and like noticed someone and they noticed you. There was just that moment of like, maybe you were both wearing the same shirt or like the shirt that were similar bands. Or the same band, and you were just like just a little acknowledgement.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I feel like sometimes that you run into so many people, there is something. Like I feel like you always see, or you can almost like notice something about other people, and you just know when you kind of feel like you ran into them before, not necessarily in this life. I can't explain it exactly. Or how certain friendships grow to a certain point. I mean, of real, like, knowing the other person very well.
I just think some of us, I don't know, we're all not that different. In the end, we all have similar stories.
Yeah, the bottom line is
culturally,
that doesn't even
break it down into country, states.
I mean, hell,
neighborhoods.
You had in the West, you had the Italian mob, right? In the East, you have the triads in China. You have the Yokozunas in Japan. I mean, come on. You still have guerrilla fighters, I believe, in Vietnam that still think the war's going on. There's groups.
I think we're going off on a tangent now.
We might be. I'm not gonna lie. I feel the incense a bit.
All right, let's get out of here, man. Let's get out of here because we're gonna be back tomorrow morning.
Yeah,
right.
We will be, and I guess approximately 13 to 14 hours. And my math right. I'm not that kind of Asian. I'm sorry, people.
It's been fun.
Outstanding. Pow.
Like I said, go in peace to love and serve the Lord. The podcast has ended.
And thank you to all of our listeners, subscribers. Like, subscribe, and share with your friends.
That's right. Oh yeah.
And we are on
Did
Spotify,
you say that say that?
And we are on Spotify and Rumble, and soon on social media platforms.
Okay.
And what are we doing?
We're uniting the Christians with truth instead of dividing us with lies. If you're a Christian and you listen to Jesse Lee Peterson, we are kind of ankle biting off of him, whereas I definitely say you need silence. Silent prayer. Download his silent prayer. That will teach you. That's what opened me up and made me realize. But where he loses me is where he's critical about the Catholic faith.
Yeah.
And that's where I have to become an apologist. And so therefore that's what this podcast is all about, really. It's crazy. But I just started doing it, and this is the 27th one, and tomorrow will be the 28th. and we're going to be here in the morning. So we'll see you in the morning, poopies. All right? See you in the morning, poopies. And vaya con Dios. Go with God.
Outstanding.